Investor's Edge with Gary Kaltbaum. Straight talk about you and your money. Now from the BizTalk studios, here is Gary Kaltbaum.
And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. I'm Gary Kaltbaum, your host. Hey, thanks for being with us today. Glad you're here, ladies and gentlemen. Happy that you are listening. It is Thursday, August 29th, 2024. And this is serious talk on everything that affects you. And we mean everything. We'll talk markets, the economy, your job, your industry, employment, taxes, proposals from the Morlocks, debt and deficits, and corruption and crime, and you name it, we shall cover it without any bias, any agenda, or any ulterior motive, and we mean that big time. Ladies and gentlemen, and if you do not get this radio show in your city, we'll post it at GaryK.com. We'll also post it on our Twitter feed, which is now X. And if you don't follow us on Twitter, you should. We'll also post it on the podcast apps. And if you'd like to email me, just be nice. Today, I am going to be the king of segue. I really wanted to start with something else, but I think I'm going to start with something that everybody's talking about in the market and where I stand on it, because as you know, we've made serious coin on it, and as you know, we do not own it as they came into their earnings report yesterday. That would be Nvidia. First off, let me tell you what was said about Nvidia today. A mic drop moment. Stupendous. Amazing. Unreal. Unbelievable. My favorite one, though, was the mic drop moment. Ladies and gentlemen, the mic drop moment on Nvidia was a year ago when their earnings went from to up 400%. This is not a mic drop moment. This is something from people that are holding on tight and hoping it keeps doing what it has been doing, and maybe it will. We don't care about opinion. Not a lick. The only opinion that ever matters to us is the market's opinion. What is that stock? What is the sector? What is the market? What is the country? What is the commodity doing? And is it snatching money out of your wallet or putting money into it? That's all. I can sit here and go back and forth on what Nvidia reported. I'm not. I'm going to give you the broad strokes on what they reported and then tell you what the stock looks like. Simple as that. Earnings decelerated from monstrous numbers. Sales decelerated from monstrous numbers. Decelerating from monstrous numbers is not the end of the world, but it's still a deceleration. Margins, how much are they making out of whatever they are selling? We're down a little bit from the past. There are some in my industry that believe that is very meaningful. But I do believe margins can be fluid. Their guidance was fine. The stock was down almost 6% today, down $7.41 to $118 and change. So down a little bit more in the aftermarket. The stock never got back to the highs. It broke back above the all-important 50-day, but today broke back below the 50-day moving average, which puts them, the best way I can say it, in timeout. I don't even have to think about the stock. If it's below the 50-day, that means it's in no man's land. Even if it gets back above, I think it's got to work its way. My best guess is we're in. Let's assume it eventually breaks out to new highs. Let's assume that. We think that's going to take a while. That's our best guess. Not 100% sure, but it's our best guess. Why do we say this? Well, because coming into this earnings, it was already 10 weeks of corrective range bound with a nice recovery off the recent little crash the market had. But also, it would be normal. I want you to remember when we made that call on January 5th that we thought Nvidia was getting close to breaking out, and if it does, it would be the 5 to 6 month range breakout. It did nothing for 5 or 6 months. Well, it broke out and went up almost 100% in a matter of 8-9 weeks. You remember that, right? Remember, it took 5 to 6 months. We're now 10 weeks already. That's what I think's going on here. Simple as that. We don't own it. We're not going to buy it as of this second. We'll wait to see whether institutions stop selling. They had a chance today. Remember, we're always a big believer in where it was. They had a chance today because early on, first off, it was down 9 in the aftermarket last night. We came in, futures were up big, so they rallied things up. They opened it up at around 120. They rallied it to 124 and change. Unbelievable. And that was early. And what happened at 124 and change? The institutions came in and sold. And that's what we'll adhere to until we see different. Now, the one thing, I'm going to call it good, but I'm also going to call it not so good. Volume was pretty light for a earnings day, only 35% above the average. It's good because maybe the selling was not vicious. It's bad because what if there's more to come? Nevertheless, stock's on a little defense here. I wouldn't call it the end of the world. Major support down in, well, it's 17 points away. It dropped down to 90, reversed to 100 on the crash day, that Monday. We'll call 100 support. It's at 117 and change. You have 17 points to that big support. I don't think we get there unless things get really undone. And we'll just take our time, each and every day watch it, try to get a feel for where it doesn't want to go any lower. And that's that. What's interesting is today, while this was going on and while it was getting distributed, at one time today, the NASDAQ hit 17,789. It was up 235 points. Unbelievable. Nvidia's dropping that the NASDAQ's up 230 some odd points. NASDAQ finished down 39 points. Very disappointing. Which leaves me believing still work to be done. And as you know, we've been telling you the chart patterns in a lot of NASDAQ names. Ick. But other areas better. The Dow today, I do believe at one time today, hit 41,577, 242, was up 485, but finished only up 243. Okay, so that came in a little bit too. Tomorrow's another day. It'll be end of the month. We'll see how these things are treated. but just some wicked stuff today, back and forth. Some real, what I would call quirky, crazy, paper-thin swings. My job is just try to get the main direction right, and sometimes there ain't any main directions. And that's where you got to take a step back, be patient, leave no doubt there's leadership stocks. There's strong names, but leave no doubt there's a lot of freaking weak names also. But we just want to start with Nvidia because of how many people are interested. If it wants to go lower, it will go lower in spite of all the people that have strong buys on it that watched it going down today and raised their targets to try and goose it. And in spite of a drop the mic day. Up next, we'll segue.
Hi, I'm Gary Kaltbaum, host of the nationally syndicated radio show Investor's Edge. We're not just handsome radio people. We manage investors' money for a living, specializing in fee-based discretionary money management. No big commissions, just a fee on the assets that's managed. We also provide a full range of personalized services, including retirement planning, fixed income, and educational needs, all to assist you in achieving your financial goals. Understanding not all individuals have the same needs, we'll carefully evaluate your personal goals to determine a proper investment strategy. If your current approach to investing is not getting you to where you would like to be, call us to make an appointment for a complimentary portfolio review. The number to call is 888-422-5559. That's 888-422-5559. That's 888-422-5559. Investment advisory services offered through Kaltbaum Capital Management.
It's time to switch on the integrator units and get the brain cells working.
You're listening to
Hey, this promises to be fun.
Investor's Edge
The last bastion of quality programming.
with Gary Kaltbaum.
It doesn't get better than this.
You know, I was really interested, by the way, in seeing after the earnings, after the close, Ulta Salon and Ulta Beauty were reporting earnings. The stocks have been trashed. Ulta Beauty just rallied because of Warren Buffett taking a position. Both of them down again pretty decently in the aftermarket. I haven't looked at the numbers. Beats the hell out of me. We'll take a look. We'll figure it out. But we don't own bear market stocks and never will. We don't believe in owning downtrends. We know what downtrends can be. We're also finding, symbol ESTC, a computer database company, closed at 103. It's $78 in the aftermarket. I hope you don't own that one. But Dell Computer in the aftermarket closed at 110. It's 118. So that's up a little bit. Dell stock is down from 180 about 10, 12 weeks ago. Dang on ESTC. That's just a few in the aftermarket. Okay. Segue. Did you see the video? Did you see the video of what they're saying are Venezuelan gangs taking over apartment complexes in Aurora, Colorado? Did you see the video? It has them going upstairs with AR-15s and hacksaws, hacking off doorknobs and entering buildings. They've been accused of violent robberies, threats, Gambino-like threats. Did you see the video? If you haven't seen the video, go see the video, and you're going to think to yourself, Aurora, Colorado? You know, I used to live in Denver. Aurora's just east of Denver in a place called Cherry Creek. And I'm looking at this video, and we see videos like that in Venezuela, in third world countries. in Nigeria, in Haiti. And all I'm doing is thinking to myself, and I have to tell you, everything I think about now that goes on with the country, what if I was the President of the United States? What would I do? I had a question today. Where the hell is the President of the United States calling the governor of Colorado, calling the mayor of Denver, getting the National Guard and SWAT teams into those apartment complexes, arresting these thugs and criminals, no bail, for terrorizing and attempted murder and murder threats, putting them into the most harsh jail out there, and then hold a press conference looking at every one of these other thugs that would think about doing something like this and say these words. Yeah, go ahead. Do you know what we got instead? The mayor comes out and says, oh, we're not going to let this happen. And I'm thinking to myself, what is going on? You know, when I report to you what's happening in Oakland about the crime, when I report to you in Washington, D.C., they're sending out flyers to citizens on how to prevent carjackings because there's so many carjackings. When I'm in New York City and the chocolate bars are locked up, the shampoo is locked up, the toothbrush, everything's locked up. If I was President of the United States, my first official speech would be, this crap ain't continuing. That's all. And we would be putting the frickin' hammer down. They're already thankfully getting rid of some of these DAs and judges and mayors that have their own security, but the citizens don't. Go watch this video and you're going to think it's Haiti. When you look at videos of Haiti, that's what you see. I'm not making this up. What does this have to do with the markets and the economy? They keep telling us everything. Nothing's great if there's one family that's got to hide themselves under a bed or have to move because of a criminal element. Where's the vice president? Oh, she's on a bus tour and doing an interview with CNN. So the CNN nincompoop asks, so what ice cream do you like? Vanilla chocolate. Uh-huh. What's your average score in bowling? Uh-huh. Good. Good. Hey, by the way, I have to ask a tough question. Is that all right with you? Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Go watch this video and ask yourself the question, where are the good guys? They've pushed families out of the complexes. People in their homes. And I don't see anything being done. And somebody's going to be murdered. No doubt. Somebody's going to die. 100%. Guaranteed. And then something get done? I have a video of a man in Penn Station in New York City harassing one after the other, grabbing women's purses. And the Metro authorities are sitting there watching them and doing nothing about it. Go watch the video. And I'm just thinking, what if I was President of the United States? Just some thoughts, a little segue. Oh, by the way, they're putting up all kinds of gang graffiti also. Next, as we segue a little bit here, Dollar General. I don't know if you know this, but Dollar General was down, $40 today to $84? You know what they do. By the way, they have almost 20,000 stores. I didn't even realize that. And supposedly they're going to open a bunch more, but I'm not so sure that's happening. The stock's down from an all-time high of 260. 262 and 22 to 84. You think long term. They tell us everything's fine. Dollar General has now come in and said that end of the world having trouble. Up next, we'll explain. This is the one and only Investor's Edge.
Listening to
America is talking.
Investor's Edge.
He's got to be pleased with that. The crowd is just on its feet here. He's a Cinderella boy.
With Gary Kaltbaum.
Comes highly recommended. You're going to feel better if you talk to him.
So, just another segue. Dollar General down $40 to $84, down from $262. Dollar Tree, that's another one. Hit a high of 177 and 22. It's 84, and that's been crushed also. And as you know, I believe it was Dollar Tree that said we're not selling dollar things anymore. It's got to be $1.25, something like that, maybe even higher. This is what we mean by thinking things through and knowing what not to own and the reasons why. For these companies, there is the low end, and we don't say that as pejorative. We're explaining low end of income. And they're saying that they're, tough goings. But also, if the prices for everything go up, how the hell can I sell something for $1? I'm losing money. So we go $1.25. I'm still losing money. Guess what happens to the stock prices? And of course, on the other end, there's Lululemon. Now, I have to tell you, I have never bought anything from Lululemon. I know what they sell. I can just go online right now and see what they sell. And by the way, they're offering 15% off if you do something online. And I'm just going to click on best sellers. And I'm looking at, if it comes up, of course, women. And I'm looking at a scuba oversized funnel neck half. It's like a sweatshirt with a little zipper in the middle. $128. What's the problem for Lululemon? Go into Target, find the same thing, and maybe it's not as great a material. I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there. Maybe it is. Don't know. I can tell you it ain't $128. I can tell you, I'm sure it's a hell of a lot cheaper. And I just looked at one little thing. That's the problem for Lululemon. It's called price conscious. What did I do with me? I am not poor. I am more than middle class. I do very well. I looked at my bill in Starbucks and saw $340 for a month. And all I get is espressos and breakfast sandwiches. I have not been to Starbucks now. I am now on day 10. And I don't have to be price conscious myself. But I'm saying to myself, $340? I have a grandson now. I'd rather take that and open an account and put $340 in it every month. Ooh, that's a good idea. I haven't done that yet. And I don't need espresso. That's number one. And breakfast sandwiches, what do I get? The reduced fat turkey bacon. What is it? It's an English muffin with an egg white, a little cheese that I don't need, and a turkey bacon. The egg white you can make. The turkey bacon you can get at the store. And who needs turkey bacon anyhow? I just saved $340 a month. By the way, that's a car payment. These days, not so sure. Imagine people now looking at these numbers. If I am, what are others doing? Catch my drift? This is how we think logically about, damn, I don't want to own that. I don't want to own that. Why haven't we owned Tesla or Rivian or Lucid or any other electric vehicle stock? They can't give them away even with $7,500 from the taxpayer. They tell you it's from them, the government. No, it's the taxpayer. So I'm not going to own an electric vehicle stock. So just letting you know what's going on though. Insurance stocks are relatively strong. Now, they're not going to light up like a pinball machine like tech and higher beta stuff. I just read Allstate. I'm pretty sure it was Allstate. I got to double check. Somebody is raising auto insurance or home insurance in California 34%. I'll find Allstate. Home insurance is set to increase home insurance in California by 34.1%. Oh, Allstate stock is in new yearly high. How about that for some education from your handsome and buffed host? By the way, Allstate's in an all-time high. And of course, these insurance companies have you by the you-know-whats. And in some states, there's only like a few people, insurance companies are leaving. What else is new yearly high? Progressive. Auto insurance. So here you have companies that are charging too much either on the high end and the low end. Companies that are charging too much, but you have to get it. Now, if you own your home outright, you don't have to get home insurance. I don't know if you know that. But then you're risking if something happens. But if you have a mortgage, you have to have home insurance. There you go. So that's how we look at the logic of what and what not, and the whys. And maybe electric vehicles will have their day in the sun again. Maybe the dollar stores will have their day in the sun again. Maybe Lululemon will have the day in the sun again. Or Ulta Salon. But all I can tell you in real time right now, something up. And that's how we roll. Another little segue for the peeps out there. And of course, I can go to the big banks right now. Because what are they paying in cash at your banks right now? 0.5%? But money markets are 5%. So they can take your money at 0.5%, take no risk, and buy a 1-year treasury and get 4.5%, 5%, and make 4 points on your money. Because they're so sweet, the banks, right? Guess what the bank stocks are doing? You got it. Again, a little bit of logic goes a long way. And of course, watch the stocks. Why? because things always change. Markets are fluid. The economy is fluid. People are fluid with their needs, with their wants, and all that fun stuff. You can look at airline stocks and look at Spirit Airlines that looks like it's just ready to go bye-bye. But others, not necessarily strong, but you can tell the difference. And by the way, our great government stopped the JetBlue Spirit Air merger. And this is not a prediction, but I'm just looking at the Spirit Air stock. It's acting like, see ya. I'm not saying that's happening, not to scare you anything. But I would never not be surprised if one day they just psh. And then maybe the government that the all-know, all-seeing, all-believing doofuses will, okay, go ahead, merge, pick it up. And of course, the stock has gone from 17 to 260. So knocking out the merge screwed the shareholders too. Hey, thanks, Mr. and Mrs. Government. Ain't I segueing a lot today? Well, guess what? We're not done with the big segue. Because there's an interview tonight. Ain't that great? And Donald Trump. For you people that love him, I have a message. This is the one and only Investor's Edge.
You're listening to...
What are we waiting for? Well, what are you waiting for?
1, 2, ready, go.
Action!
Investor's Edge with Gary Kaltbaum.
So, a farce of an interview we'll have tonight. I don't know when they're taping it. It'll be a farce. If the interview is not antagonistic, it is not an interview. This is a woman that has hid herself, disrespected you, the voter, by not coming out with policy, by not doing interviews, not doing press conferences, and having her own people leak things all over the place about her flipping and flopping like a fish on a dock that was just caught alive. We'll report to you on it tomorrow. We'll hold out hope. There's some random acts of journalism going on. But I know this Dana Bash, she's a hack. Overrated, hack, biased, never, ever, ever gets into somebody's face unless it's the Republican side. Then every now and then she will. Again, I'll hold out hope. And then my friends on the Trump side. So let me tell you a couple things. Number one, he's being accused of going to Arlington National Cemetery and doing photo ops. And of course, the media is doing 24/7 on him. Remember how it works. If the left does something heinous, they don't report it. If the right does something just a little bit icky, 24/7, and they will ram it home. Well, I have no idea what happened in Arlington National Cemetery. There is a he said, she said, he said, whatever. And let me be clear, the big lie. I don't know what the rules are, the regulations, the optics. I got pictures of Joe Biden doing political photos and posting them of him at Arlington National Cemetery. What? I thought you can't do that. I thought it's unpatriotic because Trump is doing it. Well, there's Joe Biden with pictures posted at Arlington National Cemetery. Isn't that interesting? And people in the Army even came out and lambasted Trump for that. They did not lambaste Biden for that. What do we tell you about bias and bullcrap? So just letting you know. And again, I have no idea what happened. I'm not saying he did wrong. I'm not saying he did right. But you have one of Trump's advisors calling the employee there mentally ill. What the hell is that? Is that going to help? You catching my drift here? If you are a candidate, if you're Trump, and every word, everything you say, everything one of your people says is enhanced, is shown. J.D. Vance telling Kamala Harris to go to hell. What is that? You think you're going to win a woman's vote in rural America or urban America? Telling somebody to go to hell? Just saying. And a little bit more for the people that love Trump, and especially if you're listening that you can get to him. Enough. Have you seen the tweets? Have you seen the social media? As I have said to you, in order to win an election, you have got to go for every vote. And you can't piss off anybody. So in other words, even if you don't want to, fake it. There's got to be a filter. There's got to be a governor. You know what a governor is, right? There's none. And as bad as she is, I think if the election was today, he's losing. So you still have a debate, and you still have plenty of time. You better get to him. People do not vote for the nasty. And I must tell you, when Trump initially came out for president, I think people thought it was great, cute, lovely, wonderful, different. I think in 2020 he lost because that changed, and now it's going to be even worse. I think the many want presidential now. And he's still rolling 2016. Think it over. Think it over. The only way to learn is by thinking it over. Go look at some of the things he's posted. It's sheer insanity. Forget policy. Do you know a lot of people aren't going to vote on policy? You know what they're going to vote on? What did he say? That's what we mean by an election. And measuring it. And knowing it. And trying to win it. Just my segue, ladies and gentlemen. And we move on to what's hopefully not a cold open for the new season of Saturday Night Live. Tonight's interview with the Vice President of the United States, who I call a miserable failure, and yes, was the border czar. In spite, I saw a CNN dolt yesterday. She's not the border czar. I'm like, why don't you just become the attorney for the DNC? Like we can't see. We can't hear. That's them treating us like we're idiots and like we're not paying attention. Pay attention. There's going to be a difference of a few $1 trillion confiscated out of the economy versus not. I take it back. How about 10 trillion confiscated out of the economy into their coffers, or you keeping it in your wallets? That's going to be the difference. We'll have more tomorrow. Tomorrow should be on with Neil Cavuto, noon hour, Fox Business Network. Check that out. And tonight, I'm still in 96 degrees. Should have an air conditioner next week, yay. When you get home, do like we do, quite simple. Make sure you hug your family. Make sure you hug your children. They will feel better. You'll feel better. I promise. Thanks for joining us. Be well. Stay well. Until tomorrow. Peace out. Good night.
This has been Investor's Edge with Gary Kaltbaum on BizTalk. To listen to past episodes or to get in contact with Gary, go to GaryK.com. That's GaryK.com.